Hello to all our lovely travel podcast listeners. Happy Halloween! How are you? I hope you are really well. Thanks for joining us again this week. We've got a Halloween special for you. How fun is that? Perhaps you've thought in the past, wouldn't it be nice to get away for Halloween? Perhaps you've never thought about it, but this could inspire you. Well, we are being joined by our expert, Amy Louise from Not Just Travel. If you've listened to past episodes, you will have heard her talking all things Disney, but Halloween is her favourite time of year. I know when you're listening, you can't see how fabulous Amy Louise looks right now, but she is just Halloween queen. So Amy Louise, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here and happy Halloween to you.
Thank you very much. Halloween, yes, my favourite. I mean, I start decorating and celebrating autumn and Halloween probably in end of July, August. So I really come alive, in October, and those kind of burn months, they're my favourite.
And why do you love it so much?
I think if we really take it back, I think the weather in autumn is always so beautiful. I think the colours, I really love when the trees start changing and you see the greens, the oranges, and like the yellows coming through. I am absolutely obsessed by pumpkins, and I always have been. I definitely would say I'm the pumpkin queen. It's just such a vibe. I think this time of year as well, we've got so much to look forward to. We've got Halloween, then we get bonfire night, then we get Christmas. So it's like the happy, they're like, everyone starts getting really excited. And I think it's the colours, the magic, the fun, everything really.
Oh, it is a magical time. Well, we're going to chat today all things Halloween and travel. So let's dive in. So we're going to take a little trip around the world and pick out the top 5 Halloween themed destinations in no particular order. But we are starting with Salem in Massachusetts, a big icon in the US for Halloween. But what makes it somewhere that people want to go and celebrate Halloween?
Well, Salem, I mean, it's one of those places that's absolutely buzzing with Halloween energy. It's so deeply tied to the history of 1692, the witch trials, which gives it that unique kind of spooky vibe that's hard to find anywhere else. And I kind of said just now that I start celebrating Halloween kind of as soon as TK Maxx starts bringing out their stuff. But in Salem, it's celebrated throughout October. There's not a Halloween day. It's like the whole of October is Halloween. So and the town goes full Halloween mode. You've got ghost tours, psychic readings, reenactments of the witch trials, and literally the whole town gets involved. If you think about amazing elaborate costumes, it's not just a night, like I say, it's a whole month of haunted happenings. And then there's the witchy side of Salem, which has become the kind of hub for modern witches. So you can pop into shops and find potions and even book a spell casting session. It really is a whole experience.
Wow. And I just think in general, in America, they celebrate Halloween in such a big way. If you look at any of the celebrity news, they always have the A-list stars, don't they, that go to town, and they always report on what everybody is wearing. And it's not just your bog standard kind of Halloween costume, is it? They really transform into these characters, and they invest a lot of time, money and energy into looking fantastic. So in general, I think America really shows the rest of the world how Halloween is done.
100%. 100%. And I'm celebrating Halloween out in California. This will be my second year now. So backing up what you say about how they go to town and how much I love it. I was definitely meant to be born in America for all of the wonderful things, but Halloween, they really do go to town. and in Salem, it's really fascinating as well how they blend the dark history with Halloween fun. So it's both spooky and it's also kind of educational, which is really cool because you get the mix of thrills and history. So there's a lot of meaning behind it all. And a couple of my favorite films as well. Like if we're saying, aren't we today, Hayley? If you can't make it to Salem, then maybe it's 3 films. No, let's go with 2 films. Of course, the 90s iconic film has to be Hocus Pocus. I definitely had a girl crush on Sarah Jessica Parker, and I probably still do. She's stunning in it, and it's such a good fun story, and that's set in Salem. But if you want something more serious, I mean, The Crucible is another great film to watch, and that is all about the witch trials in 1692. So, yeah.
I love that. And if you are traveling to those places, always fun to watch a film that was made in the destination that you're traveling to. So, yeah, a brilliant option, a first one off the list. So, Amy Louise, we're heading to Mexico next. What's the name of the destination over there, which is our second choice for an incredible Halloween travel experience?
So in Mexico, they celebrate Dia de los Muertos, and I really hope I've pronounced that right. I don't offend anyone, but this is something really special. It's so beautiful. It's a vibrant celebration of life and death. And unlike Halloween, which is a bit more focused on that kind of spooky side, Dia de los Muertos is all about remembering and honoring loved ones who have passed. So you'll see these kind of stunning ofrendas, altars covered in flowers and photos, and the energy is so much more joyful than scary, and it's a really powerful mix of color, tradition, and celebration. And you'll see sugar skulls and marigolds everywhere. It's visually so striking.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I love that. And isn't it interesting how around the world, as you say, there's these different takes focusing less on the sort of haunting, spooky side and seeing it more as a celebration of life and death. I love that sort of interpretation of Halloween over there. That sounds really nice.
Yeah, it's almost like, if you can imagine, a full sensory experience. And celebrate, towns like Oaxaca and Mexico City, you'll find parades, folk dancing, people dressed up. If you've seen on the internet the beautiful sugar skulls, the parade La Calavera Katrina, I really hope I've done that right as well, is one of the big highlights. People go all out, and it's stunning to see how families go to cemeteries, they clean the graves of their loved ones, they bring offerings, and sometimes they even have meals at the graveside. It really is, it's meaningful, and there's so much to take in. So I think with this as well, if you wanted to bring it to life, I've kind of spoken a bit about it, haven't I, about the colours, the marigolds, the ofrendas. But I know this is quite maybe a sugary, sweet version of it, but Disney's Coco is a perfect film to watch if you want to kind of see how beautifully vibrant the celebration is. And the film is set during the Dia de los Muertos, and it really captures the heart and spirit of the celebration.
Oh, wow. Yeah, again, great to watch the film to set the scene, to get you in the mood. That sounds absolutely fantastic.
And of course, I could not have done a podcast without mentioning Disney, right?
Oh, yeah, I know. I mean, who would you even be if you didn't mention Disney? I think one of the best known Halloween hotspots has got to be Transylvania. And that's in Romania, the home of Dracula, isn't it, Amy Louise?
Right. Yeah, yeah. Now, Transylvania is a dream for any Halloween fan. I mean, it's the legendary home of Dracula, and if you visit Bran Castle, which is known as Dracula's Castle, they really lean into the vampire vibe during Halloween. You can take eerie night tours. You'll find lots of ghost stories being told, and live actors to bring that kind of spook to life. And if we think about the landscape of Transylvania, it's very rugged and very gothic, which just adds to the whole atmosphere. And people from all over the world head there for Halloween parties at the castle. It's like stepping into a different world with all the costumes and creepy fun.
Oh, it just sounds so cool.
Yeah, it really is. And the big one, like, is the Halloween party at Bran Castle. It's a huge event and it is iconic. I think if anybody is listening who has watched Van Helsing, one of the scenes from there is a beautiful like masquerade ball. So when I think of this, I think of that. And if you're, quite a history buff, I'd also suggest doing a tour that dives into the life of Vlad the Impaler, which is the historical figure that inspired Dracula. Plus, the town of Sibiu, I hope I pronounced that right as well, has some chilling ghost tours that take you through medieval streets. And, it's all filled with eerie legends and that kind of mix of spooky fun and a real cultural deep dive.
That sounds like such a nice combination. And just as a destination in general, I've noticed, especially in the last few years, that Romania seems to be having a bit of a moment and is becoming increasingly popular. So, if Romania is somewhere that's now on your hit list, what a great way to tick that off the bucket list, but doing it at the right time around the Halloween season, when you're getting the best of both.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, look, if you can't make it there this year, but you still want to have that kind of vibe, why not watch Dracula? Now, we're talking the 1931 release, and it's a classic, and it really did put Transylvania on the horror map. Even though it wasn't filmed strictly there, it's the reason so many people now associate Transylvania with vampires.
Wow. So, talking about the home of Dracula, let's talk about somewhere a little bit closer to home. We're going to hop over to Ireland now.
Yes, we are. Because I think, you know, people think that Halloween was created in the USA. The USA was not the birthplace of Halloween. Ireland was, which is why it makes it really special to visit around this time. Samhain, which is the original Celtic festival, was all about making the end of the harvest and almost preparing for the darker half of the year. Now Halloween in Ireland is this amazing mix of ancient traditions and modern celebrations. I would probably say towns like Derry and Dublin throw huge Halloween festivals with parades, fireworks, and even bonfires. But the bonfire is all about scaring away the scary, the darker spirits. And this all harks back to that ancient Samhain ritual. So if we're picturing misty landscapes and haunted castles and that connection to the spirit world, this is why Halloween in Ireland feels so authentic.
Sounds so fun, and a great for us Brits that we can literally just hop on such a short flight, go for a couple of days, maybe a long weekend over the Halloween season. That is so much fun. It's really interesting, and it's so interesting, really educational for me, because personally, when I think of Halloween, my brain wouldn't have gone over to Ireland. So, what do I know? But that's fascinating. It's great to know there's somewhere close by where we can really immerse ourselves in Halloween if we want to.
I can actually surprise you even more because, I mentioned pumpkins just now, and actually in Ireland, they used to use turnips. We never used they never used pumpkins. That's a USA thing. So they used to carve turnips, and there was some point in history where that took over to the USA, and then pumpkins were carved. So that's really, really an interesting thing as well. And I think if we're thinking about a film to watch, like I say, to transport you to kind of Ireland and not, if you can't get there this year, I'm always loving a top tip. There's a really great film called The Eclipse, and this is set in Ireland, and this has that really eerie, supernatural kind of vibe, which is perfect for that Halloween kind of feel.
Oh, I've never watched Eclipse. That sounds great. I'm going to look out
One
for
for
that one.
you, Hayley, one for
Oh, I
you.
love it. I think there's nothing like watching films to get you in the mood, is there? Whether it's Christmas and now Halloween, whatever kind of is coming up throughout the year, is watching those films inspires you to travel, sets the scene, and gets you in the mood. So I'm loving it. Not only are we getting the travel Halloween tips and knowledge, we're getting the film tips as well. This is a
You
great podcast.
are. Look, we love Halloween is a great time. And if you get, like we keep saying, if you can't get there this year, let's inspire you for your next trip.
Exactly. Wow, this episode is going so quickly because we've reached number 5 on our hot Halloween travel hit list. And I believe, Amy Louise, this is one of your favourites. So have you saved the best till last?
Well, I think we may have actually, because New Orleans is the next level when it comes to Halloween. Um, the city already has such a spooky, kind of mysterious atmosphere, which with its haunted past and that kind of voodoo culture and those iconic above the ground cemeteries, it really is a very insane place to visit any time of year, but especially at Halloween. Because New Orleans really cranks it up. You've got the Crew of Boo Parade, which is like Mardi Gras, but with a spooky twist. And I mean, Mardi Gras is huge and it really is a huge party. So if you've ever seen the Mardi Gras parade, you're thinking floats, costumes, and music, all themed around Halloween. And if you're really into kind of that supernatural, there are voodoo shops, haunted tours, cemeteries to explore. It really is a magical mix of mystery, history, and a celebration that makes New Orleans really kind of stand out. Um, when I think about New Orleans, I'm going to drop some Disney in here as well. You think of The Princess and the Frog, because that's filmed or kind of set in New Orleans, and you think of the Shadow Man and the fact how he talks to the other side, and there's a lot of voodoo in that. So that gives you like a little fun nod and insight into what that kind of voodoo history is kind of like.
Sounds like a really fun kind of eclectic mix there that you're going to get if you travel over to New Orleans. That is fantastic. And
100%.
and as I mentioned earlier, Amy Louise, is really where I feel somebody like yourself, you're a travel consultant, obviously you work with us at Not Just Travel, your knowledge and the knowledge of our consultants really comes into play here. I've learned so much in this episode. Obviously, Transylvania, I know obviously America, it's massive, but all of these different destinations, I had no idea there was so much going on in Ireland, which would be so easy for me to get to. So a travel consultant can really tailor make a Halloween experience and inspire you.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Because these destinations all sound incredible, but with a travel consultant, like who would, like, I could tell you about, say, in New Orleans, St. Louis Cemetery #1, which is, one of the best cemeteries to go to in New Orleans. And then, we can talk about, our travel consultants know about, where to visit, where to go, the creepiest spots, where is it that you want to go? They can bespoke that itinerary and really curate experiences, which, makes it very more, you get everything you need from your holiday, don't you? You get to see everything.
Exactly. If you're investing in a Halloween trip, you don't want to miss those key things. And sometimes, who wants to spend hours and hours doing all that research? If people have experienced it firsthand, if they're in the industry, they have that amazing expertise and knowledge, then they can tailor make it all for you. And of course, there's no charge at all, which is always great. Now, talking of experts, I have to ask you, where will you be spending Halloween this year?
Okay, well, um, I am going to the US. I actually, I'll be in the US, in California. We are going to the Oogie Boogie celebration, the Disney party at California Adventure. It's huge. It sells out every year, but this year I was very savvy and I learned the hard way last year by missing it. But this year I got tickets, so I'll be with the boo crew of my own in California Adventure, and celebrate with Oogie Boogie and the not and the Nightmare Before Christmas characters. I'm very excited.
Oh, that will just be so much fun. That will be amazing. Oh, well, Amy Louise, I hope you have the best time ever.
Thank
Happy
you.
Halloween again.
Happy
Thank you for
Halloween to you.
making Thank you. Thank you for making this such a fun, informative episode. I've learned so much. I'm sure the listeners have enjoyed it as much as me. We really hope that this has inspired you. Think about next year. Think about maybe a nice little weekend away in Ireland, perhaps with friends, family, loved ones. It just goes to show when it comes to travel, like, you know, there's so many different types of holidays and experiences, but really making the most of all of the different celebrations and seasons that we have, and being in the right place at the right time around the world to really bring that experience to life. And it's all there for the taking if you want to plan something. Do get in touch with the travel consultant that forwarded you this podcast, or if you found it yourself, you can easily find one of our travel consultants by heading to our website in your postcode. But happy Halloween. Thanks for listening. Do share, rate, review the podcast. It really, really helps us. And I will be back next week.